Good evening, RPG Limit Break. Tonight, we have the co-op 2020 Final Fantasy Randomizer Tournament Elite 8 match between Clever Team Name and Thunderlot. Both of these teams could take it all the way, so it is going to be a fantastic race to watch. Keep your eyes on the screen. I am Dwight. Joining me in the booth tonight, the Emerald City Saint himself, Will Bloodworth. How are you tonight, sir?
Freaking fantastic. How are you holding up, buddy?
I am just ready to go. I am ready for 4 chaoses on my screen, and we're going to get it tonight, hopefully.
Let's see this thing decided by more than 5 seconds, but less than a minute. That would be ideal. So we know who the winner is, but we want to see a close race. Just like, so that story is about Thunderlot and the Game Changers, which last round went to Game 3, almost Game 4. There was a decision made that after a 5-second difference between the two teams, the margin was high enough for Thunderlot to advance past the Game Changers. If it had been 3 seconds or less, they would have had to rerun it because it would have constituted a tie. We have some very, very good competition here. Sonny Wrath and Dark Moon, wonderful racers, well-established runners. Sonny Wrath was the #1 seed in the tournament that we had this past spring. Then we have Thunderclawed and Sir Linkalot. Thunderclawed is the current hardcore champion. He took that belt off of me personally. And Sir Linkalot, a newer runner, who is doing amazing things. It looks like we have Life 2 right out of the gate, which is amazing. And in the Black Magic Shop, we've got a Lightning 3 spell, and if they're feeling like they can pick up Stop if they want to use that against Carry.
Yeah, so the magic are rolling pretty nice. Get your level 1 sweeper out, get your healing spell. And Life 2 is exactly what you want to see at level 1 as well. We got an Iron +4 hammer that Dark Moon picked up for his White Mage. Gonna be able to punch a couple things early. I like it.
Make early levels a lot easier to get. They all have fighters in their party, which means that they could pretty much just give an enemy a dirty look and they're going to do 5 to 10 damage on it. So that shouldn't be an issue if they want to fight imps and get some early stuff. But Lightning 3 is going to take care of that anyway.
Yeah, so we found Matoya's cave already. We don't have the crystal yet, but it's nice to know about for when we do find that crystal.
Absolutely. There's 3 easy chests. So the exploration begins. Now we're going to find out what we have in store for us over at the Temple of Fiends. On Sonny Wrath's side, he's heading there right now. Getting through some trees, and we haven't seen an encounter yet. And we're not going to.
We do have a question in chat. How do you run co-op in an RPG? Well, these runners actually they're all running the same seed from FinalFantasyRandomizer.com, and they are all connected via a Lua script in the background. And so what'll happen is when one runner finds a key item, both teammates will get it. It'll get transferred to the server after about 10 seconds, and both teammates will get it. So what we might see is some awkward pauses when runners find key items because they won't want to move, because if they die, that item wouldn't get transferred to the server, and therefore their teammate wouldn't get it. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's about a 7-second delay. So when you see people standing still, that's the reason why. So right here where Dark Moon just found an herb in the Sky 2 chest, the incentive chest. Now, Sonny Wrath on the top, you'll notice on the top of his screen, it's going to pop up and say that he found the herb. And there it is in red text. So now the only thing they have to worry about, and I shouldn't say the only thing, is that they're going to have to level on their own. They're going to have to find the shards on their own, or whatever the shards are called, this seed. And they're both going to have to cross the finish line by beating Chaos before they can be considered the victors. Now, if one of the racers finishes on their team and the other 2 on the other team finish, well, tough tomatoes, that's it. The other team wins. Both of you got to cross. So it's different from last year where just one person needed to beat Chaos. And I will let Dwight take it from here and explain what's happening with this flag set.
All right, this flag set is pretty different than last week. We have just our standard co-op interest in floor shuffles. The towns are all mixed together, but the towns will not be deep, as we can see on Sir Linkalot's end here as he finds the town of Provoco, which is a fantastic early find. All of we have an incentivized marsh cave, which replaces the locked area, which replaces the Carnaria locked incentive from last week. And all of the Fiend dungeons are incentivized besides the She Shrine, so mermaids will not give you a key item tonight. There will be no loose items or anything like that. There'll be 3 different dud locations, so sometimes they'll find a floor, think there might be a key item there, and they'll get rewarded with a big old tent.
Yeah, it's the opposite of loose. We're going to have 3 duds. So those duds aren't always exactly duds. Like sometimes they can be something useful, but they aren't going to be key items. So you're going to see that happen potentially 3 times across these 4 screens. As Thunderclawed is clearing up Mirage 1. I believe we saw a slice in there. I don't know if he's found anything else terribly interesting yet. Lightning 3 is taking care of those pirates. We have a Fade waiting in the wings. And it's not going to be needed.
Darkmoon looks like he found the carry floor and is trying to fight the trap tiles there to get to that box. To find that, hopefully, a key item. That's what he's looking for there.
Yep. Well, it's an incentivized location, so odds are pretty good that there will be something useful. All he has to do now is survive. The nasty little Nightmare Badman pack. Never like to see that. Linkalot got a crown. Sharing that with Thunderclawed. And Sunnyrath has found the Sea Split. And it is a loot in the incentive volcano chest. One of the 2 most important items, that and the key. The 2 things you're going to need to descend through the Temple of Fiends Revisited at the end of the game. The rest of it has to do with access to places like where we have on Sunnyrath's screen. This is Earth 3, where there's a rod needed to break through the slab. And you need Oxail to get in through Onrek to get to the Sea Shrine, usually in the normal game. That could lead literally anywhere else. And you need the Chime to get into the Mirage Tower, and you need the Cube to take Mirage 3 up to wherever that leads. Stumptronic asking, is saving the game allowed? It most definitely is allowed, and it is encouraged.
A lot of saving. You will see a lot of saving.
In fact, it's used for the purpose of avoiding encounters on the overworld. So, if you're to save your game, say where Darkmoon is right now, if he saved on the ocean and got into a fight about a second or 2 later, he could just reset, cycle that fight out, and just keep going, rather than sitting and taking the fight.
We got a vampire up on Sonya's screen, which means he found the rod block, but he's going to explore it a little bit to get that incentive chest down there.
Yes, what would be the ruby chest in the normal game would elicit a new key item for him were he to get that. I don't know what just happened here on his side. It looked like he reset out of the fight.
He did, and I think, if I'm correct, Thunderclawed has found something quite important. I think he has eyes off the power cycle.
Yeah, that's pretty huge.
And that is going to be absolutely huge, because he is going to be able to get a lot of early levels and be able to keep his early dives. As he's going for progression, he's going to be able to kill enemies and gain shards. So that'll definitely put him in Linkalot if we see Linkalot come back for that. But it doesn't look like it. It looks like both teams are kind of focused on just diving the dungeons as deep as they can to see about progression. It's kind of these co-op seeds are kind of a little bit of an early rush to see who can get that floater, so you can start flying around and moving around a lot faster.
Well, getting the floater is usually the big break the game open moment. Like getting canoe and floater and getting into the air is huge, because it's opening up, I think, roughly 30 to 40% of the game to you that wasn't previously open. So getting that floater is a pretty big deal. It looked like Thunderclawed left the would-be eye grind around level 7. So I would have stuck around a little bit longer, but Thunder is a top player and he knows what he's doing, so I'm not going to question him too much. Go Pack Go asking a little earlier, did they ever play Destiny of an Emperor? I don't know who you mean by they. I do. I love it. There are a few of us in the community who also play Destiny of an Emperor, but this tournament is exclusively FFR, and it is exclusively co-op. Falconic making the point that with progressive experience, the eyes are good anytime. That is absolutely true. Early survivability is something that comes at a premium in a race like this, though. When you're diving dungeons, everybody has to do exploration, everybody has to grind, everybody has to do everything except for find key items. As long as one of you does it, you're good.
Yep, and each key item, even that loot early game, it wasn't the progression our runners are looking for, but to Falconic's point in chat as well, each item these runners find is going to give them 10% extra experience. Even if they turn them in, as long as they pick them up and they go out to that server, you know, them and their teammate will get 10% extra EXP for the rest of the game, and that stacks. So 10% for the loot. If they find another one, that's another 10%, and it just keeps building. So you can gain levels real fast.
Sonny Wrath got in a fight with some Wraiths and decided, nah, we're good. Got out of there, and he's going to do a little bit more exploring. And Thundercloud is clearing out the, well, everybody else calls it the spider room. I guess I'll call it that too. I used to refer to I'm not going to say it. I used to call it something other than that. But we have a ghost fight on Sir Linkalot's side. They're always nasty, but somehow he's able to survive those. And then he's rewarded with a second ghost fight, which he's also
those ghosts always punch hard, and the enemy stats are clamped at 100% to 200%, so they are going to hit even harder in this flag set.
If these fighters on Sir Linkalot's side are easily killable, which doesn't look like they are yet, it took 3 AoEs to kill them. This is a pretty darn good tile, early or late. It's usually it's going to be a fighter mage or 2 fighters, something to that effect. Asterisk room, yep.
Thunderclawed on the top right, making some good use of stop there to put those those unrunnable rock goals. Stop. What a veteran move to use that not oftenly used spell of stop to make sure he can survive this fight. That's awesome. Good play there.
That was a spell that I pointed out right when we got into that magic shop right at the beginning of the game, and I said if they're feel like using that stop spell probably on the carry fight, there are enemies who are susceptible to it. There's a lot of them. Some like Rock Gull here, where you may not have an AoE spell that can do a heck of a lot of damage to them. Luckily they do have Fade, but in a case where you wouldn't, that's a great spell to use to get through the fight and survive, where they're dealing on some pretty nasty physical damage to early level characters. So like a lot in the what do we call that? The procedurally generated waterfall?
Correct, yep. And I think Dark Moon found Crescent Lake. I don't think we've seen Crescent Lake quite yet.
No, I don't believe so. Thunderclawed finding carry.
He found some gloves +2, and he's picking those up. That's a nice little pickup there. Get about 5 absorb on your, 3 absorb on your light warriors.
And no evasion penalty that I'm aware of. If there is, it's 1. Just like the original item. And since we know where Gaia is, that bottle he just picked up from the Brobot is going to come in handy.
Level 6 white magic looks like Wall is the most useful spell, although Fog 2 can be very good in certain situations as well.
Early game is really the only place where a fog spell matters. Once you start getting into the mid-game and late game, fog is relatively useless in comparison to an invis. Evasion is far more powerful than absorb.
Level 6 black magic was pretty stacked though, nuke and temper. You don't want to see those at the same level, but you'll take it because you want to see them at the lowest level you can get them. And Dark Moon picks up the key.
Ooh.
So that's a big pickup because, as Will was referring to earlier, we only need the loot key and 28 shards, and we can go back to the past.
Yep.
So.
And we know where a fighter trap tile is. We know where an eye fight is right off the power cycle, which Sonny is taking advantage of right now. So with all that in mind, if we get the shards, we have everything we need to raid the Temple of Fiends Revisited and secure a victory. And since they're sharing information, it's a lot easier to figure that out.
So, Will, we talked about finding those eyes off the power cycle, but just kind of explain real quick, what does that actually mean? So why does that work?
Okay, so with Final Fantasy, the encounter table, even when it's shuffled, even in the randomizer, it's fixed. So when you hit the power button, it resets back to the first fight on the encounter table. that encounter is going to be the same in every zone, every area that you go to. So Volcano 1's going to have a certain fight right off the power cycle, right around Canaria. It'll be, that's going to be imps anyway. Earth 1, wherever it is you can pick up that first fight, you can predict that it's always going to be the same fight. So when you have a fight like an eye right off the power cycle, you can kill it, go outside, save, hit the power button, go back in, kill another eye, lather, rinse, repeat, and get tons of levels easily. Trap tiles are better than that because all you have to do is take one step and you're back on. It's faster and it's usually safer, but an enemy like an eye is something you want to take advantage of if you have it on the power cycle. T-Rex is the same thing. Some people like fighting Tyros. I don't. Others do. If you find those off a power cycle, that could be useful. There's a few enemies like that.
So someone in chat mentioned that the runners are in key item go mode, but I don't think we found the Temple of Fiends yet. So until we find the Temple of Fiends revisited, until we find the actual area of the Temple of Fiends, we won't actually know that. So, because it could be in one of the Cardia Islands, which means they would need the canoe and floater in order to win the game. So.
Well, Astos has gifted us with the rod, so knowing where Earth 3 is and having that rod means we'll have access to a previously unknown floor. That might take us to somewhere very useful. It may take us to TOF, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if we have... if you take a look at the flags, do we have deep Topher on, or is this just going to be a surface-level Topher?
Deep Topher is not on for these flags for this week, I don't think. Yep, nope, I just confirmed. I checked, I was looking at it again, and it is not. So, so we just need to find the actual entrance for it. And so, but the Deep Topher flag does means that Temple of Fiends can be deep down in a dungeon, but with that flag turned off, the Temple of Fiends will always be fixed to a surface level. It'll still be any entrance. It could be over in Ordeals. It could be one of the Cardia Islands. So our runners still might need to be able to find that floater and able to win, to be able to win.
If it's in a place like Mirage, it means you're going to also need the chime to get in. So there's implications for having different key items to getting to where you need to go and getting the items you need. A situation could happen where you don't even need the floater to beat the game because the Temple of Fiends would be accessible without a floater, as would the loot and the key and sufficient numbers of slices or shards or whatever you call them for this particular seed. But that's not common. Usually you're going to need to explore the whole world to get everything you need. Wraiths and giants and nuke and temper, and a lot of things are happening right now. Yeah, go ahead.
I saw someone pick up an Opal +5 helmet. That definitely is something that the runners could use. It provides a lot of absorb. And I just want to mention that typically in Final Fantasy Randomizer, we don't really care about helmets very much because we're looking for that ribbon, that
Right.
best headgear weapon. But we have random treasures on, so we don't actually know how many ribbons we're gonna get. We could get none.
As few as 0, as many as, well, I don't think there's really a limit.
Well,
4 or 5.
I guess I'm gonna take that back. I actually misspoke. There is a ribbon in the incentive pool. So the runners are guaranteed 1, but we don't know how many they're gonna get. So that Opal +5 might come in handy.
Right. Yeah, having at least 1 ribbon means that if you slap that on your life caster, which on Dark Moonside just died, it guarantees that you will have the ability to revive your characters if you're in Temple of Fiends Revisited, and your party gets wiped save for that 1 character. They throw out a nasty zap, 3 out of 4 you die, White Mage somehow survives, you can bring everybody back. Which is why the strategy is usually to put that on the White Mage or Red Mage, whatever caster of life you've got, to ensure that no matter what, you can bring everybody back. We have a cube pick up on Sonirath's side from the vampire chest. He's got the rod. He's going to check to see what is below, and it is a Cardia. And this one has 6 chests in it. So Sonny has taken himself a little pause to ensure that the cube went over to Darkmoon. We have a gloves pickup, a couple of money chests, Opal 5, and a dead dragon, and another slice. Always a welcome find. And we are out of here.
You definitely don't ever hate finding the Cardia treasure rooms early in the run. Nice, no encounters in those areas, so you can just go grab all those chests and don't have to worry about fighting anything.
Making his way back to the level 2 white magic shop, presumably to get himself that Fade spell. Invis 2 is very, very helpful. It's unfortunate that Invis 2 and Fade are both on level 2. They're both on the same level, because you're going to have to preserve casts of either of the two of those for late game. So you can't just fire out a Fade to get rid of a pack of crap when you're diving deep, because every time you do that, you're throwing away an Invis 2 cast you might need for your Kraken 2 fight or your Chaos fight. That extra little bit of evasion might be the difference between surviving and dying. So you have to be pretty judicious when you've got spell charges like that on the same level.
Yeah, but we're going to see that come up with Nuke and Temper as well, so we're going to have to see these runners very carefully managing their spells come to overtime.
Yeah, it's good to see those spells coming in at acquirable levels, that they're not like level 8 spells you have to class change for, that you're going to get so few spell charges of. But again, with them being on the same level, it's really unfortunate. Bringing along a red mage who can learn both of them is advantageous in a seed like this. So as much as I harp on the fighter rainbow party, so fighter red, white, and black mages, in this seed it's going to be pretty beneficial, because you'll have an extra stock of those life spells, those invises, those fades, those tempers, or whatever it is you need.
So chat pointing out that Thunderclawed looks like found a ribbon in this sky room right here, and it rolled +1, so double the absorb. It only has 2, but it's still pretty good. You'll take it.
And thank you to Randomania 2 for your raid of 47 people. Welcome to the party. This is the Final Fantasy Randomizer Co-op Tournament of 2020. If you have any questions about the way that this works, feel free to ask. We or the fine members of the chat are more than happy to answer any questions and clarify anything that you might be wondering about. And otherwise, welcome.
Sonny Rat's pulling Lich 1. He's got his fighter up there with 49 HP. What is the plan here?
Not even respecting Lich 1.
2 hits, 2 damage. I mean, Lich 1, at the levels that Sonny's at, we usually make fun of Lich 1 for being a speed bump, but I mean, this Lich 1 is still clamped. So it's going to be a little bit of a tougher fight, but I'm sure Sonny wouldn't have... Boom! And
got it.
I was going to mention that if Sonny takes this fight, there's a good chance that he thinks he can win. He wouldn't be doing it for fun, for no reason.
Your Claude. Finding Invis 2 shirt and Temper Gauntlet on Sky 3. Good gravy. That is a huge, huge couple of pickups. Temper Gauntlet is going to free up those nuke charges. Invis 2 is going to free up charges of Invis 2 for Fade for the White Mage. Or you'll be able to double those up more easily. Those are great things to find at this point in the game.
Or at the end of the day, if that knight is the only one standing, come chaos time, now you can get it done.
That's correct. It's not a ruse gauntlet, so you're going to have to stack and stack and stack to get yourself evasive enough not to get hit by, say, Kraken 2, but it's a heck of a lot better than being, having your you-know-what hanging out in the wind and getting hit for 11 times for 850 damage. So it's a heck of a find.
And did you say it was a temper gauntlet, Will?
It was a temper gauntlet.
And so that's a little, it seems like, is this even randomized? But a temper gauntlet is actually even better than a power gauntlet, because that casts the spell Saber. So that actually frees somebody else can cast temper on somebody other than themselves. So it doesn't chain you like the power gauntlet does. So
there is a trade-off. It's like, just like with Invis 2 and Ruse, Saber is like the Ruse of tempering. So Saber adds more attack power for every charge than Temper does. So there's a trade-off. Like it's not only usable on it's not usable on yourself, or only usable on yourself. It can be used on anybody, but it's going to add less of a stack of hitting power from what the Saber casting would. Saber adds 16, like Falconic said. Temper adds 14. Dark Moon. sets out of there.
But cleverly after Sonny Wrath gets the bottle.
Option Art asked about. I'll hit this really quick here. Saber asking about whether or not Saber gives an extra hit percentage. It does to a point, but once I think it's about 80 or 90 or so hit percentage on your character, it caps out. So you're not going to give yourself a bunch of extra hits come late game. But yes, it does do that earlier on. It's really more about getting more power per stack. Go ahead, Dwight. Sorry.
Sonny Wrath, and they find their slab, which they do actually share the slab translation as well. So only one of them will have to get the slab translation, and the other can turn it in, as we're going to see Sonny Wrath do right now.
Right before we hop into the armor shop real quick, we have Steel 1 at max price. A Silver 4 shield isn't too bad. Pro Rings at +1 is nice. Nice that it's not a penalty. But that steel might be a little pricey for his fighter. And we're going to find out, as soon as he gets his butt to Lefane, we're going to find out what those Lefanish folks have. Lefane, Lefine, Lefian. We have never come to a consensus on how to pronounce that city. It's the Lupa Lupa land is really all I can think to call it.
Thunderclawed over there had a lot of statues. I think those sea snakes have stone poison, is what I'm thinking.
I missed what made them stone colored, but it certainly was that fight. And Thunderclawed is making his way back out.
That's gonna be fun come Seafloor and Topher. That's gonna be we'll probably see these runners maybe track down that incentive ribbon, because one ribbon and a bunch of stone poisons doesn't sound like a fun time.
No. Ooh, Marsh Split on Darkmoon's side. Eesh. Let's see where this leads.
And as we've seen, these runners don't have access to the spells Warp or Exit, which are huge in Entrance and Floor Shuffle because they let you get in and out of dungeons easily. Seeing one of these splits means it's very deep, and at the levels that Darkmoon's at, it's going to be tough to go super deep in any of these dungeons and make it consistently. So,
Sonny made the long walk to the Ordeal's entrance, and he has found himself the Dwarf Cave. He's probably conferring with his partner to let him know this right now. I don't know if they have adamant, I don't remember, but he does have the key. So we are going to see these 8 chests, probably a slice or 2 in here. Maybe something amazing like a Masa. We shall see.
Or if you're Sonny Wrath, you could find an item. Item magic is shuffled in these seeds, as we talked about that Temper Gauntlet earlier. Procate +4 is not bad.
No.
But so you could find anything, Fire 3 stick, or some AOE sweeper would be obviously huge.
Right. All he finds is a Procate +4, which is good, and 1 slice, and the rest of it was kind of just money and hot garbage, really. Slab getting translated for Team Thunder a lot as well, so they'll also have access to the Lefanish and whatever their item happens to be. Darkmoon is clearing out what we call the armory floor of the volcano, which is the 2nd floor, named for this room he's in right now, where we have, I think it's 11 chests, 11 or 12. The odds of finding something helpful there are pretty high. So back before we had things like Floor and Entrance Shuffle, this was a place a lot of people made a beeline toward, because you'd usually be able to find some equipment here, possibly a loose key item, just because there's such a high concentration of chests in this area, and it's really easily accessible. The enemies aren't oppressively tough, so this is always a good room to find in any game. I imagine he might be looking to clear out the rest of the floor. There's 2 chests up here to the north. There's a chest here on the other side of that door. And then there's about 3 or 4 up there, some of them behind traps.
In addition to that, the armory floor has actually a couple of trap tiles too, and so now in later times we shuffle those tiles, so we don't know the enemies are actually just completely random, I think, for those tiles. So runners will often check all of those too to see if there's a good grind there available as well.
Knowing that we have access to a fighter grind tile, 1 or 2 fighters, or eyes off of power cycle, it's a lower premium on finding more trap tiles of like that. Like if you happen to find a 3-eye trap tile, that's great, but it's not something you really have to exert a whole heck of a lot of time and energy looking for at this point.
We have something extremely important on Sonirath's screen, the Temple of Fiends.
Mm-hmm. Game on. And now we can look at those. Speaking of trap tiles, we're going to have 2 more over here on my right side. Might have something hiding in here. These are not often checked chests. I like to make a point to check these whenever possible, because many a time have I pulled a ribbon out of here or a key item out of here. Oh boy, that's Trance and Brack. Trance and Brack.
Ew.
That's a nasty combination. You better run, sir.
And that's why Sonirath brought that Thief, so if he runs into a nasty pack, he can get away. Thief has the best run chance in the game.
Smartest man on the screen right now. Only person I saw who took a Thief. And I always promote that.
Yeah, we also do have a flag turned on, better trap treasure. So any boxes that are gated by trap tiles will have on average, have better treasure in them. So always a smart decision to check those particular boxes whenever that flag is on.
Saudi's trying to get past this gauntlet of Trance and Brack to see if there's anything worthwhile behind the trap tile. If there's not, a slice is probably worth trying to keep. Oshlinar, did the Thief get buffed in the randomizer? As a matter of fact, it certainly did. Now, the Thief is able to get double the hit percentage that he did prior to the fix, so if he gets his hand on a katana, he is able to do a heck of a lot of hits for a heck of a lot of crits. So that has made the Thief advantageous to take. If you level it high enough, its hit percentage gets high enough to do 6-7 hits with a pretty decent late game weapon, and it's getting close to black belt levels of strength. The downside being the low pool of hit points, and that's pretty much it. that's it. Everything else is great. Access to levels 1 through 4 of black magic, and hitting power like that means I don't know why people don't take thieves more often.
Another thing that the randomizer does is it fixes a lot of bugs the original vanilla game had. A lot of the spells that didn't work, like temper and things like that, are all fixed. They all work as intended. The lock spell and these flags will always hit. That's another change the randomizer makes.
Right.
You can obviously, if you want to play with those on your own to roll your own seed, you can turn those off. You can turn them back to what they were in vanilla. It's all a choice that you can make.
Right. There's actually multiple options for the lock spell's accuracy. It can be 100%. It can be what you call vanilla. I think there's also one where it's got a lower, a non 100% chance of landing, but it does have a higher chance than it would normally have. Yep. MDef on Thieves is not wonderful. It is 2 per level compared to the 4 you'd get with a black belt. Like Sir Linkalot's about to find out just how nasty this pack of Gursharks and Wiz Sea Hags is. Unless he happens to wipe them first, which I don't think he'll get to do. There's Brack. And he did not see the trance. Lucked out a little bit there.
Sonirath finds the Castle of Ordeals, and you'll notice another thing about these pillars. They are not the same as vanilla. They're randomized as well.
They shuffle. Dark Moon has found Mirage 3, which is cube locked, and the cube lock takes him down to a place where you're going to have access to not 1 but 2 key items. the crown chest, which is the third one down, second one to the right, and the locked chest in the bottom right corner. There's an opportunity for there to be key items in both of those. Chime pickup. It's access to the Mirage Tower, which might be necessary. We don't know yet. We will only know once he gets there. As Sonny makes his way through the Ordeal's castle, he's almost at the end, about to find out what he came here for and what he's going to have to fight to get out with it. TNT!
Oh no, Dark Moon finds the Gasties with toxic.
Ouch. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And there's all the things that Sonny and Dark Moon picked up after that wipe.
So the only way the chime would be required, we found the Temple of Fiends, and so the only way the chime would be required is if we just could not find the 28 shards without going to that entrance, which would be unlikely, but it still might hold something really like an important piece of equipment that we might need. So
now Sir Lancelot's getting some difficulties with these Wizzy Hags and Gersharks. Thunderclad is treading ground we've already seen in the armory room of Volcano, and Sonny Wrath has made his way out safely from the Ordeal's castle. They're taking advantage of the open progression in the southern continent here, which connects the Crescent Lake and Volcano area with the Ice Cave, which you cannot do in the original game.
yeah, I think you got to take your boat and go sail up around and use that dock up there.
Correct. Use the dock or use the river system. You can park it there. It's closer. Dark Moon found Marsh 2 below that volcano level. And speaking of volcanoes, Sir Lancelot has now found the Ordeal's castle there as well. Presumably he'll have about the same difficulties with it that Sonny Wrath did. Thunder is clearing out Volcano 2. I don't know that we saw that on the other screen, did we? Well, we saw the armory pickups, but do we see the rest of it?
I don't think we saw the rest of it.
Since we have trap tiles here, I think it's a good idea to check, because you just never know what you can pull out of here.
Yeah, better trap treasure is on makes those little hairpins in the armory floor much more lucrative to check.
I used to check. Oh, there. Oh, that's a pickup.
Is that a commentator's blessing?
I think that might be what we call it. It's curse for Sonny Wrath and Dark Moon. Blessing for Thunderclad and Sir Lancelot. Massa 3, in case you blinked and missed it, on Thunderclad's side in the far right chest in Volcano 2. That is a game changer. Regardless of what you think about other swords, that's a game changer.
That is definitely a game changer. Unless they find something extremely better, that's Mazamun's already the best sword in the game, and +3 is definitely huge. Giving six bonus attack plus crit, that's a lot. We're probably gonna see Sir Lancelot definitely go find that one. Thunder will be telling him where it's at for sure.
And Dark Moon is able to get away from the gas dragons this time, not get toxic to death, and he finds a ruby for his troubles. Now, I believe we have found one of the Titan entrances somewhere. I just don't recall where it was. So, can I get a commentator percentage win for each? If you're asking me what we think the odds are of one team winning versus another, this isn't a cop-out when I say I have no idea or it's too early to tell, because it really is. Like, things can change on a dime. The count of slices can change drastically and very, very quickly. The incentive items can come in waves, and the levels can come out of nowhere whenever they decide to do their grind. So it's really hard to say at all when with one team being ahead of the other one. As of right now, I'd say that Moss is a big deal, though.
That Masa is definitely a huge pickup, and I put the runners kind of neck and neck. Wrath and Dark Moon have a little bit more exploration done. They found some more items. They've dove to the bottom of places. But Thundercloud and Link look like they're getting levels as they go as well, so they're a little bit ahead in that area.
Bonnie has found this bottom of Cardia. Sorry for the pause there. And Dark Moon is going to see where that leads, and it leads to Onrock. No worries at all.
Well, I don't think the dock's on, so that gives them access to Waterfall without the floater.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool. That's
And
pretty cool.
And we have a crystal pickup. Now that was a big brain play on Dark Moon's side. And he's going to pause and let Wrath get that crystal.
I wonder if he'll go check Waterfall while he's up here. Yes, Dark Moon, do it. Use the wormhole.
Yeah, it makes sense to me. Let's see why you wouldn't. And there's your floater, kids. The crystal turns into the floater. Matoya provides. It was right there in Canaria Castle all along. All you had to do, find an optometrist for Matoya.
I like this play by Dark Moon. Even though his partner found the floater, he's already right here by Waterfall, and it's quite the hike. And he finds the Bridge of Destiny, so he'll be walking right back.
It's Tiamat. And I believe we have a mandatory war mech on deck.
We absolutely do. The Robot himself will be required if you choose to go there. You don't necessarily have to, but that is 4 shards and a nice chunk of experience if you can defeat the war mech.
Right. Late gameplay, and killing Tiamat would Tiamat and Kraken give you 4 slices each when you kill them. Lich and Carry will give you 2. So if it's late game and they need another 6, 7, 8, then killing Tiamat is probably not a bad idea. Get the extra levels from killing Warmech. You probably have at that point everything you need to pull it off. Thunderclaw decided he was going to talk to the Smithy, who wants some adamant pretty badly. The person? No. So, were you about to answer that, Dwight?
I was going to answer that.
Go ahead.
Sir Linkalok's battlefield looks a little bit different than the other 3 runners because the randomizer has some fun percent flags that you can turn on, and one of them is to give it that modern Final Fantasy battlefield look. It doesn't change the game or the gameplay or the RNG or the frames or anything like that. It just makes it look different and kind of slick and cool. So
Right.
on Sonirath's side, he has shuffled color palettes too, so his enemies will be different colors, and those are other customizations that you can change. You can change the menu color as well. Stuff like that. Really cool stuff the devs added to the game.
Additionally, Sir Lankalot has implemented the the Valkyries of Light mod to make a couple of his characters female. And not all of them, because the fighter is still as he was. And the red mage has changed. Actually,
Yep.
is this Valkyrie of Light? It looks a bit different.
He has some of the Valkyrie of Light sprites, but he has the vanilla fighter sprite. Thunderclaw's sprites are changed too. He has the Dark Knight Cecil sprite for his fighter, and I'm not familiar with his White Mage sprite, where that's from, but it's kind of cool and he uses it. So definitely some customizations. The randomizer doesn't add those. You actually have to edit the ROMs yourself to get those.
Ooh! Opal Bracelet +5. You will not find a better piece of armor in the game than that. That is god tier armor. It's already the most powerful piece of equipment anybody can equip. But with a +5, it's giving it an insanely huge boost. So that's Masa levels of huge, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, having that huge piece of absorb in any light warrior can equip that too. So definitely very, very good pickup there by, I think, Clever Team Name picked it up. So
yes.
stuff.
What now? I have a question. Was the Canaria locked incentivized?
Not this week. It got switched to a marsh lock incentive.
I see. So we were not expecting to find a potential key item there, and as such, we did not. Now we're going to make the Lefane walk on Dark Moon's side. We're going to find out what learning that language did. Probably not.
Sawney Wrath has found another huge pickup. He has found Elfland, and he found the Warp spell at level 3.
Mm-hmm.
That spell is immensely helpful. It's a huge time saver in Entrance and Floor Shuffle. Being able to warp back to the surface, or, do the warp trick in the Ice Cave, or unfortunately Sawney's already ran through Ordeals, so it won't help there, but it would be useful there. But so I think we should get close. I don't think we've seen what item is for sale at the vendor.
I haven't seen a vendor item yet either. I can get corrected by chat there if we have seen anything. But we have Dark Moon on Mirage 2, which is 10 more chests. And Sir Linkalot is going to discover where the other side of the Titan tunnel leads, which is to Onrak, which leads to the waterfall. If it was Caravan, we haven't had a chance to see it yet. Well, we may find out on Sawney's side here, because he's heading there right now. And it was the Adamant. Look at that. Chet has blessed Sawney Wrath with an Adamant. He's going to have to go sell some stuff to get the money necessary to buy that, and then turn back into the dwarfs. But in the meantime, he knows where it is. He can tell his partner. Partner can go buy it.
There is the game changer. Vorpal 5.
Some people will be very happy to find that.
Well, Sawney Wrath is, because he doesn't have that Massa.
No, he does not.
And I don't think he's going to go looking for it either, because that Vorpal +5 is going to hit hard, and it's going to crit a lot. And that's kind of what you want against those high absorb bosses at the end of the game.
Mm-hmm. It's not a bad weapon to have. +5 makes it very much worthwhile.
Is that another Temper Bonk?
It's no katana.
Is that a duplicate? Didn't they find it in a different place?
I think so. Yeah, I think that's 2 now. I think
that's
you're
the
right.
second one. I think the other one.
Good catch. I did not realize that.
Yes, the other Temper Bonk was in Sky 1. Big shout out to Shadowed Flames, our tracker, who is just keeping us straight up here in the commentary booth. Could not do it without him. And yeah, the other Tempered Bonk, so there's a second Tempered Bonk found in this seed that you could possibly have.
Less huge, but still good. A cap 5. Something that anybody can equip. That's going to give you a pretty sizable amount of absorb.
Yeah, definitely. 6 absorb on the helmet slot before you find your ribbons is super useful.
Mm-hmm. Sonny, what's going on, brother?
Yeah, that's not an incentive location, so maybe he's taking notes.
Yeah, that's entirely possible. Maybe he's taking himself a restroom break or something. Nope, he's back. He's good. Using that warp spell that he was fortunate enough to find. And go right back in. What is Earth 1 going to lead to? It's going to lead to Elf Castle. Do you have the herb? I believe you do.
Yeah, man. What's that Thunderclawed is found elf. Ugh.
Zonkaroonie.
You get 4 chests. You get 4 chests in here. Could have some slices. Could get some slices.
Cabin. There's 1 slice. 175. Hey, 2 slices. It wasn't a total loss.
It was probably a complete win for Sonny. He was probably pretty happy to find a couple slices in there.
Yeah. Take them where you get them.
Yep, take them where you can get them. I think Sonny is at this point looking for Bahamut and looking for the tail.
Yep. Ice Cave is probably where we're going to end up finding that, because we've seen a lot of incentive locations so far. That just kind of feels like the right place. And here's Sarda. And it is the Ice Cave. Speaking of which.
I spot him, and we're going to, if you put your eyes on Sonny's screen. He is going to walk us through the warp trick.
We assume. Yes, he is definitely going to do that. Now we'll see if my spidey senses were on. A ribbon, a pro cape, and the tail as I called it. There it is.
Oh, everything we say these runners just get every time.
Yep. Hacks.
So that I don't think we've seen our incentive ribbon yet. So I'm fairly certain we're going to have 3 ribbons in this seed.
Because we have found 2 loose. Something hypes. 2 loose. Reverse commentator curse is probably what's happening here. And I don't think anybody who's benefit from it is going to complain. A lit 3 sword! Oh man, the hits just keep on coming, kids.
Ugh. We have
Wow.
blurst commentators now in the randomizer. We have blurst everything, including commentators.
Yeah, everybody's gonna try and book us for their next event. They're gonna start booking us for bar mitzvahs.
Absolutely.
Because that would be Gungnir, wouldn't it? That would be Gungnir.
Look at that pure gauntlet. Just what you want to see. It did roll +4, so I mean, that's some absorb at least.
It's a good gauntlet. You promote and give that to your ninja, maybe. Oh man, are the the temper gauntlets are gauntlets? So probably rather have that on. It's gonna it's eating up an inventory space anyway. Might as well equip it.
Thundercloud finds his promotion, and it looks like the Invis 2 shirt was the black shirt, I want to say. I don't know what Thunder's second slot was. Yep, it was the black shirt. So that's definitely going to be a nice piece of absorb. That black shirt is gold bracelet, so +2 defense, and then gives some time resistance as well. So
Indeed. Yeah, Invis shirt being the black shirt is confusing. I agree. Well, let's just roll with it. It's random. What are you gonna do? Thing is the black mage is gonna have to stay alive long enough to use it to cast. And a copper 2 bracelet for his troubles on Sonny Rath's side. Nice little slap in the face for that trap tile. And he is about 5 chests away from clearing the ice cave.
Thundercloud is going to check the key lock chest in Connery Castle, which is going to be a huge payoff for Thundercloud because we know he's going to find an Opal +5 there. Maybe not. Maybe it was a silver 5. Maybe the Opal 5 was found somewhere else. That's my fault.
It was. I'm trying to remember where it was. I actually thought it was too. Yeah, it's Canaria Castle. It's the king. It's not the treasure chests. You have the right location though.
I did have the right location. Does that count, chat? Does that count?
Oh yeah. Well, that's chat. I'll give it to you, but you know they may not. And Sonny Rath filling out his paperwork, talking to HR, and they figure, you know what? You've done a good job so far with the company. Let's go ahead and give you guys a promotion. And there you go.
Which just gives us a nice look at Sonny Rath's equipment screen. He's got that good sword in the Vorpal. He's level 15, so not looking too bad. Armor situation's looking real nice. Temper gauntlet, pro rings. We got some ribbons. We got the Opal 5.
Sonny's smart not to equip the Temper -5 because that will actually lower evasion and it won't give him a whole heck of a lot of absorb for his troubles. So just holding on to it is better than equipping.
Definitely agree. Veteran moves there from Sonny Rath and all these runners, really. You're gonna see these runners don't do things willy-nilly. If they're doing it, there's a reason for it.
Aya is the top of Marsh, where they found 1 slice and a house, a little bit of real estate, and I guess he found the other 2 chests already and I missed it.
Hey, we found the adamant for sale in the vanilla location for selling items, the caravan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was there earlier but couldn't afford it. So now that he's got it, he's going to let Dark Moon acquire it as well. I'm really curious to see what the dwarves have.
Notice what Sonny Wrath did there too. He acquired the item, waited for Darkmoon to get it, and then reset. So he gets to buy the item and keep his money.
Just brilliant. That's the fun thing about co-op, is that you can utilize that item sharing to your advantage beyond just not having to have both players get it. You can also use it to manipulate the purchasing of the key item.
Our tracker has just spotted a third ribbon on this Agama floor that Thundercloud is on.
Oh my.
That means if they choose to track down the incentive location, that's a full party of ribbons, and Sawney just got it with the adamant turn in.
We have 4 ribbons accounted for, and that's we need exactly 0 more of those.
I mean, you're not complaining. You love to see it. You'd love to see 4 ribbons on all your light warriors. That's great news.
You do if you know what's good for you. And with 12 shards, Thunder is actually sitting on 17, so he's doing quite well. Only 11 away from having access to the Temple of Fiends Revisited, with access with having the loot and the key.
Our awesome restreamer Dangmu in chat letting us know about all of the co-op action that is going to be happening this week and this weekend. Lots of Final Fantasy Randomizer action to be had. So if you like what you're seeing tonight, there's plenty more to come. Lots of great competition in this tournament.
Thundercloud finishing up the Agama floor, Volcano 4, I believe. Oh, Arachnids with Frost and ambushing. Owie.
Owie. Man, good thing we found all these ribbons. Otherwise, we would be in trouble. Thunder looks like he's in a little trouble anyway.
He is, despite the fact that he's got ribbons. Well, his white mage will probably survive, but I can't speak for anybody else in the party. Better get the hell out of there.
Yeah, didn't respect the Arachnids, and the Arachnids have Blaze too.
Ooh, that's
Whoa!
a
Didn't respect. Good. Wait, Blaze Arachnids. I'm getting like deja vu or something, right?
I think so. I remember that used to be a thing once. Wow, that is a shame. What version of Final Fantasy 1 in the bottom right? Same version. Cosmetic changes do not affect the gameplay whatsoever. We went over that a little earlier. He has some different sprites for battle, and he has a different battlefield selected, which is something you can do in the randomizer. It's a box you can check to have the more modernized randomizer.
Yep, really cool stuff that we allow you to do in this game. Kind of customize it to your liking. It's really sweet. It's available if you check the fun % section on FinalFantasyRandomizer.com. Lit 4 sword +4. Well, that's not. Yeah.
Yeah, he picked that up his first time before he wiped. We're calling up Gungnir. And Thunder is going to have to get through those Arachnids this time.
What's in this box? A tent?
Yeah. You know what? We've been very kind to these runners. I'm going to say it's going to be... It's either going to be a katana or a... I don't know. Dragon sword.
Let's go dragon armor +2.
Slice. Also good. It wasn't a zonk, I guess is the important thing.
I mean, you'll take as many shards as you can get your hands on until you have 28, of course.
That's correct. That, I guess, is as many as you can take.
This is one of my favorite rooms in the game, the greater than, less than room. 10 boxes in here for your trouble, and some good fights. If you got a good sweeper, you can get through them, get lots of experience.
Where are the sword chucks? They are safely packed away in your imagination. They have not been implemented yet as of now in the randomizer. But with the developers we have working on the game lately, now that you've said that, it probably will end up manifesting and come true within the next 2 weeks. So thank Wildham for that. That's just the kind of guy he is. Also, dual wielding katanas when? Make it happen. Buff the ninja until there's no reason not to take him.
There's rumors that somebody might be working on that. We'll see. I've
Oh.
heard some stories.
Yeah, I've heard a thing or two. Another ribbon? Are you kidding me?
More ribbons than you need.
Just in case you throw one out on accident. I guess you could just tie that one around your finger so you remember not to forget it.
I've never dropped a ribbon by mistake before.
No, I've dropped them
Never.
intentionally. I've totally dropped them intentionally though when I've done solo grinds, or solo runs, because it was taking up item space. Dark Moon getting his tail. He knew where it was because Sonny knew where it was. All right.
Thunder's
Yeah.
level's looking nice too. 23 across the board.
Yep. Yeah, that early foundation of killing off eyes off the power grind, or off the power cycle, is certainly something that has made it a lot easier for him to do a walking grind through the rest of the game instead of having to run away.
Yep, definitely. It's really given Thunderclad a big lead here because he's just able to easily walk through these dungeons, keep all of the experience that he's getting. Blaze
Yep.
Arachnus set aside, right?
Mm-hmm. We won't talk about those Blaze Arachnids until the interview after the race. Thunder making his way back to the airship to continue his reign of terror. Sword chucks be better than black belt fists? No, literally nothing on the planet is better than black belt fists at level 42 or up. Not a thing I can think of. Running ground we've seen already on all 4 screens here, so there's no high drama in store for us. We know what's in store for all of the runners at this point. Linkalot is going to take us on a quick aerial tour of the Cardia Islands, apparently. And he's going to head to the Lefane entrance, just like his partner did moments ago. Sonny clearing out some giants, Starkman fighting some frosties. Everybody's having a good time. That was an Aegis shield, and he walked away from it. He's going to have to fight that fight again. Drop the pure gauntlet. There you go. All right.
All right, Linkalot. Maybe we'll be visiting some arachnid friends.
Mm-hmm. Sonny has got himself an Aegis shield, which in and of itself is great, but it's also +3. Pretty nice. You're not going to find a better shield than that for your fighter, your knight. As good as it gets.
Thunder is very close to being done with shards. He has
Indeed.
22.
Well,
That's...
he might want to go take that. No, has he found Kraken yet? I know somebody's found the Kraken floor, if I'm not mistaken. But we know where Tiamat is, but you're going to have to get through Warmech to get to him. So, does he want that fight? The place he's heading right now kind of tells me he does. So that might be exactly where he's headed.
Someone in chat mentioned to throw the black belt, but actually black belts are banned in this tournament. You can't use them. So
Nope. That's something that was put in place by Falconic in the first tournament, because all that you would need to do competitively back when only one person needed to finish, is have one person grinding their black belt up to 32 or 42, and the other person doing all the exploration, all the shard hunting, and all of that, and you would have something that could just blow through Topher with no problems. So banning that was a strategic choice. I don't disagree with it. I like black belts, but I get the point. I get the reasoning. Even though this tournament requires 2 people to finish Topher, black belt grinding is something that Falconic and a few others who are in charge of the co-op tournament believe to be an uninteresting class, a not fun or a not challenging class to take. It's the same thing I feel about fighters, but everybody's got their opinions, you know. And for the sake of the competition in this co-op tournament, I think it was actually a very good decision. Speaking of good decisions, Thunderclawed taking on Warmech, adding to his already unreasonably high levels, and hoping to get through this and get himself to the team-up fight for 4 more shards, putting him 2 away from having access to the Temple of Fiends.
I don't hate Thunder getting some extra levels here. With 280% clamped boss stats, I mean, you can really get into some nasty Temple of Fiends. Extra charges, get your black, he's got 2 black mages.
Mm-hmm.
Them being able to survive a nuke is critical.
I made the comment that that he had unreasonably high levels. That was an exaggeration. There's no such thing. There's no such thing. If you can get levels while you're playing, if you're not doing a stationary grind, no level's too high. Still not going down is this Warmech.
That Vorpal is hitting hard.
Yeah, and so is Warmech. And down he goes. 42 plus 1,000 XP for the surviving members of his party, which are the Knight and the White Mage. I don't think he's as concerned about those Black Mages leveling. They are there to do 1 or 2 jobs. Clear out crap and buff the fighter. That's it. And Tiamat is next on the agenda. Tempers go up. Invises go up. Fast goes out. It's going to be a pretty big hit. And he's throwing out locks as well, just in case we have an evasive Tiamat 1.
This Tiamat 1 is about to get slapped in the face.
Pretty hard, we would assume. Not throwing out Brax, though.
Thunder wants to punch hard. He wants to punch hard. He doesn't want to brack. That's too easy. He wants to Tiamat to suffer a little bit.
That's fair. Ice 3 in lieu of Brack. Alright. You are Thunder. You know what you're doing, sir. 1923 is a pretty big hit. Kids?
That's basically the same as a brack. It just broke that Tiamat right into pieces.
When you have a Vorpal +5, a high enough level fighter, and stacks to Kingdom Come, that's the kind of hit you can expect. Tons of crits, high level, high damage. You know what? Let's see you do that on Chaos.
Brack on Chaos? Is that what you're asking for?
No,
I'd like
1900. No, it's always suspect when someone gets a Brack on Chaos. You always gotta kind of look into that, make sure it wasn't illegit. I would say the best thing for him to do is just buff that fighter up like he did in that Tiamat fight.
Thunder is going back down. Oh, he's taking carry. That's his last 2 shards right here.
That's all he needs. And this should be a pretty painless fight.
I would imagine there's going to be like no respect. Oh, he's doing the same strats. We're buffing.
No reason not to. Turn order was kind of crappy, but what are you going to do? 115 with crits. I think he's alright.
I think he'll be fine. I don't even think that punch would have killed the Black Mage.
Oh, well, with all the armor he's wearing on that Knight, yeah, I think the Black Mage would have been blendered pretty hard by that hit, but not the Knight. Slicey, slicey, slice. Look at that. So Sir Lancelot's a bit behind his partner, but since he has all the information his partner has, it's not going to be too crazy to think that Sir Lancelot's going to catch up pretty quickly.
Yeah, I think Lincolot only needs 7 more shards. That's,
And that
you know, a Tiamat fight, a chest open, and a carry fight, and he's done.
Yep.
So I think he's beaten Lich already.
Well, he's also going to have to get through Warmech. So I want to say if he follows the exact same path that his partner did, he's about 8 to 10 minutes behind him. White magic for his knight, life 2, of course.
A knight with life 2 is a huge deal.
It is indeed. With 4 spell charges and life 2 at level 1, yeah, that's a good thing to have. They lucked out that it didn't roll in the harm slot, in slot 2 of level 1, where it would have been unattainable by anybody but the white mage.
And at 1 hour and 9 minutes, Thunderclaw defeats Garland, rescues the princess, and enters the final dungeon.
He has no concern whatsoever for what that princess is going to give him. Pack of not so good men here. Dastardly. Medusa trap tile. Mercy me, it's an embarrassment of riches in this seed.
Absolutely. Well, I guess if you need to grind some more levels because you wiped out a Topher, you don't have to travel far to do it.
Nope. Have you seen a katana yet in this seed? Because I haven't.
I have not. We're not guaranteed to get it. So we do have, because we do have random treasures, we might not see the katana. It would have been -5, Will.
I was going to say the only guarantee with the katana is that if you found one, it was going to be negative, because it's always negative. I haven't seen a positive katana, I don't know, it's been a while. And I'm not exaggerating, I haven't seen a single positive katana in probably a month. It's been a long damn time. Fix it, devs. Fix it. Please. Something's wrong.
Thundercloud blows by the chests in the Temple of Fiends, but I guess when you have 4 ribbons, a Vorpal 5, a Massa 3, I guess you don't really need anything else. You have an Invis shirt, a Temper Gauntlet. I can't even think of anything that would be in those boxes that you would want. I still hope someone opens them, though, because I always open them.
I always open the validation chests. I, more often than most, open the carry 2 chests. And every once in a while, I'll go for that vanilla masa chest if I'm feeling real froggy. It's a thing that happens occasionally.
And Thunderclaw has our first look at Lich number 2. No respect. Leaves that knight at 223 HP. Says, Lich, you ain't got nothing for me.
Ye ol' speed bump.
Hit for 2 hits for 50 damage to that knight. Looks like Thunder knows exactly what's going on. 6 hits, 372 to Lich 2. White Mage swinging 1 hit for 24 damage. Lich 2 survives a round. That's pretty lucky. 6 hits, 582. Ooh, Lich still standing. All right. Lit 3 is coming out, 132, 222, and that's it. Lich 2 goes down. A little bit tanky, but Thunder made it through.
That was a very impressive Lich. With the firm handshake. Yup. Leave your hand a little sore after that. Looks like Sir Lancelot is working on getting these pieces of gear here. I didn't realize that was an Invis shirt, not an Invis 2 shirt. It's an Invis shirt plus 2. So I was a little confused there.
Oh man, I've been calling it an Invis 2 shirt the whole time. I'm sorry, chat. That's my fault.
Sonny has found Sky 3 and the 14 chests they're in.
Did it roll +2, so I have a bailout?
Yes, that's what I was saying. I misread it as Invis 2, and it's just Invis +2. You'll see it again right now on Sonny's side. See?
Yeah, carry 2. Hit carry 2 pretty hard with only 1 temper stack, so 700 damage is exactly what you want to see. Thunder with more lit 3s.
The HP pulls on these fiends are looking pretty high so far.
Carry, I think, had less HP than Lich did.
Yeah.
700 and then a 500, and then a couple lit 3s took her down. Nice, clean fights for Thunderclad.
Yeah. Provided no shenanigans, he should have no problem getting through this. And we have a Cure 4 gone. Now, do we see anything special in that Warmech fight that we know we can take off the table for the fiends here, or was it pretty much all physical attacking and garbage spells?
A lot of punching. Warmech did a lot of punching.
Which doesn't help us informationally. Kraken 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Buffs coming out on the fighter. Fighter casting Invis 2, that's always nice.
Fighter and the White Mage casting Invis 2.
Yeah.
Or Invis. So we have a double stack on the Knight, and since the Knight has life 2, even if the White Mage dies, he still has the ability to bring back on his life caster and get everybody back up.
Definitely the benefit of having a Knight with life 2. Kraken comes out with stop. All those ribbons say, I don't think so.
We're good.
We're fine here, and 8 hits for 890 on Kraken 2. That's exactly what you want to see. More tempers coming out on that Knight.
Yeah. Kraken 2 is not long for this.
I do not think Kraken 2 is long for this world. And a lit 3 for 94 damage takes Kraken 2 down.
That's all it took. Tiamat 2, he coming for you.
Yep, Tiamat 2. Thunder's going to make it there with no encounters in this floor. This floor can have some nasty encounters too, so it'd be real nice to get it. It's real nice when you can get to the next boss without having to fight anything else.
Looks like Linkalot's going to grab a quick 4 shard by taking out the Kraken 1. And I don't know how close that's going to put him to 28, but probably not far off, if not all the way there.
Well, he has 23 right now, so 4 more will put him to 27.
We'll put him 1 away. Let's watch this Tia 2 fight here. You got to admire the menuing Thunder's doing here. He's pretty quick, pretty well controlled. He knows where he's going. He knows what he needs to use here. He doesn't spend a lot of time looking at spells to cast or looking at actions to take. He's just moving pretty constantly here.
More buffs coming out. Lock coming out on Tia.
Not a bad decision.
Like that. Big Vorpal swing, 9 hits. Was that 1374?
It was indeed.
Oh.
And Tiamat said, yeah, that stung a bit, but I'm still here. What else you got?
3 hits for 16 damage by the Masa. That Vorpal's cutting through him like butter. 7 hits, 537. Down goes Tia 2.
1 man to go. 1 man to beat. Garland 2.0 forthcoming.
Oh no, folks. Sonny Wrath's got the Arachnids up on his side.
Keep.
Be very quiet.
He's hunting Whacknids. Linkalot taking care of Kraken 1 while his partner is ready to take care of the last man standing between him and finishing this race.
And Sonny Wrath is getting given the business by these Blaze Arachnids.
Yeah. Handing in the business section.
They had heat too? Wow.
They did.
They're running away just to taunt him.
See?
And damage poison? Wow.
See kids. Why you make use of your thief.
Alright, but Thunderclaw's got Link a lot. Thunderclaw has Chaos.
Throwing some blocks out there, a Cure 4. Rub not landing. The least accurate death spell in the game.
Is it though? Is it though?
Mm-hmm. It is. Lit 2 takes down his second Black Mage. Cure 4 brings up his Knight. And the Knight's going to start swinging away. And he's doing 521 damage right there.
Yep, 8 hits for 521 is exactly what you want to see if you're Thunderclaw. That's a good chunk of damage. That's damage we can deal with.
It's going to be hard for Chaos to come up with anything that's going to take out his Knight at this point.
I think so too.
Alive.
Yep, if that White Mage stays up, that Temper Gauntlet and those Cure 4s really mean it. Chaos would need something like 3 and 256 Zap, for example, or
would not happen.
Or like triple nuke.
Right. It would take a lot. Triple nuke is not likely. Triple nuclear is possible, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. Cure 3.
6 hits for 356. That's really good. This Chaos is not long for this world.
It's nearly over, and his partner is about to break that plate with the loop and follow Thunder down.
This Chaos has got some HP, but that Vorpal says, "You got HP? I got crits."
Yep. That's probably a couple turns away from getting the job done. And when you throw a +5 in front of any sword, it's going to be a heck of a lot better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, there it is.
Oh,
there it is.
That is a little bit heartening. I don't think it's GG, but yeah,
no.
Thunder. So
fine.
Thunder is still going to be completely fine here. Those evasion stacks and those tempers. But Will Bloodworth said he wanted to see Chaos get hit for 1900 damage.
And that might happen, but
buckle up, chat. There's about to be a big. Oh no! That's a nuke.
There's your nuke. Only 202 and he's still there. Oh my.
For those in chat, Cure 4 restores your HP to full, no matter what your HP is. So.
Oh my god. So he's done about 3,000 or 4,000 damage to this Chaos, and that should do it. This next hit should take care of Chaos. A lesser party would have gotten wiped here.
Thank goodness Thunder had both Temper Gauntlets. GG Thunderclaw. Now Linkalot has to finish before they win.
That's
but
correct.
Still a fantastically ran seed by Thunderclawed.
Mm-hmm. And a really good seed run by Sir Linkalot as well. He's played very well up to this point. I don't think that there's going to be any difficulties that Sir Linkalot's going to run into that he can't handle that Thunder got through. So.
And also, Linkalot has the advantage of he knows all the information. He knows that Chaos has Cure 4 already. He knows that, Lich has some HP, but carries kind of paper. So that's definitely we're gonna see here.
So,
Sonny Wrath and Dark Moon? Dark Moon's got 20 shards, Sonny's got 16, so if Linkalot were to wipe a couple of times, they might be able to put together a run back to get back in this.
That's about what it would take. It would take a wipe or two, probably two, for the two of them to pass him up.
Yep, it's going to have to be 2 wipes, I think, at this point, because Sir Linkalot, as you said, just been running a really solid run here. Got good levels, got good equipment, got a bunch of ribbons.
And I won't actively root against a runner here as a commentator. I would like to see this be a more competitive finish, a little closer of a finish, but I'm not going to, commentator curse any runner just because I want to see a closer race. I think Sir Linkalot has, if he crosses the finish line after these 4 Fiend fights, he's definitely earned the victory for his team.
Absolutely. I'm always rooting for the folks on the screen.
Yep.
Sometimes I'm rooting for him to find things in inconvenient places, but that's just in good fun.
That's right. For the love of the rando. Strictly business. There's a zap, and it hits none of the 4 of them.
I'm fairly certain Linkalot has 4 ribbons.
You know who the unsung hero of this seed was? Was the Lit 3 spell. It really got a lot of use above and beyond what you normally see. Normally, as far as elementals go, ice is the one you see the most of, followed by fire. But Lit does not get used a lot. And Lit 3 was used pretty predominantly in this race. Sometimes even in Fiend fights and Fiend refights.
Yep, and it's what you alluded to earlier. The reason why Thunder was throwing Lit 3s at Lich is because, well, Nuke and Fade held charges of Temper and Invis that were at a premium, so we couldn't use those spells. So,
well, if Kraken, Tiamat, and Chaos don't have anything to say about it, it looks like Thunder a lot via Sir Link-a-Lot's victory here will be taking this game.
yeah, I think Dangamu pointed out in chat, our restreamer Dangamu pointed out, like, unless these fiends hid something from Thunder that is super nasty that we didn't get to see, I think Sir Link is kind of got it made here. Chaos really couldn't have hid anything much from us, but we saw that fight went for a while. So
we had a Cure 4 and a Nuke, so if he has low HP, if turn order goes kind of wacky and he's not able to bring his Knight back up above 400 after, say, a crit or something crazy like that, then it can lead to a wipe, but the odds of that are pretty low. And I'm not going to jinx him by saying it's going to happen, because that's not what I do here.
Sonny is fighting carry 1, gonna pick up 2 more shards, gonna go up to 24. So, and him and Darkmoon still got the pedal to the metal. So, definitely look out, because anything could happen. Rando's gonna rando. So we're gonna watch Sir Link-a-Lot here. Do this Kraken fight, gonna come out with some invises, put some defense. Kraken is notorious for punching out white mages, so we'll see.
It's like doing that. Yeah, Kraken's like, hey, I want in on this Lit 3 party as well. Let's go.
More buffs on the fighter. Temper Gauntlets coming in handy. Big time. 8 hits, 627. That's real good. Lit 3 coming out. Lit 3 party. Said, you got a Lit Kraken had a Lit 3 for me? I got one for you too, buddy.
Was it Lit 3? I'll show you how.
I'll show you how the real pros cast Lit 3. Big swing, 970 damage. Down goes Kraken too.
Ooh,
and I don't...
Horrible.
Tia had some HP, but that's about it.
Check the Masa chest. Check it. Do it. He's not gonna do it.
I don't even know where the Massa chest is.
Bottom right of this floor. The Tia floor. You have to go down from the entrance.
Ooh, Tiamat decides, hey Black Mage, hello. How have you been today?
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to take a nap?
Buffing will go a little slower. The Red Mage is going to have to take care of that tempering and fasting. Lit 2!
Tiamat didn't get the Lit 3 memo.
I guess not. He got a nuclear on him though.
Oh, got a nuclear. Didn't see that before, I don't think.
He's been playing some Fallout.
7 hits, 490. Low rolls on the nuclear was nice. Lit 3 for 43 damage. 7 hits, 602. Tia still standing. Punches through the evade stacks, but only hits the white mage for 120. Slow 2 went on the wrong character. 667 damage. Tiamat 2 goes down.
It would have taken Slow 2 hitting his knight and landing for that fight to go on any longer than it did, and then he'd have to have some nuclears and nukes behind him to even come close to wiping that party. It was pretty much over before it began. This could be a challenge if things roll funky, but if they roll like they did for Thunder, he's going to be okay.
Well, the thing is Sir Link-a-Lot is going to know about that Cure 4. Thunder told him. So he probably might not start swinging. We might see him do some equipment adjusting that he's doing right now. And he's probably just going to stack a ton of buffs before even trying to swing, knowing that Cure 4 is coming.
And that's what Well, yeah, I guess it wasn't quite as concentrated as it would be here, but that's more or less. Ooh,
What? We did not see that.
he
Oh
led with
my.
Nuke. He led with it. So we're gonna have to see some Cure 4s go out here real fast.
Oh yeah.
Oh man. Evade, evade, evade. Oh man, this could. This could go not well. Well, Rub sucks. That's not gonna do anything. Well, Chaos said maybe not. He didn't say no necessarily.
Chaos said, "You thought I was just gonna fall over? I'm not doing that today."
Chaos
Although he did
EX.
he also missed the Lit 3 memo and just has a lowly Lit 2.
Somebody's got to cast those crappy spells. Might as well. Might as well be Chaos.
More buffs coming out. Lock. Smart strategy by Sir Link-a-Lot, knowing that Cure 4 is going to be coming soon.
Yeah. The buffing is going to go a lot slower for him without that Black Mage alive. And with the Red Mage and White Mage needing to stay alive themselves, Zap goes off without a hitch.
I always clench a little bit when Zap comes out because
Yeah.
basically the only way Sir Link-a-Lot loses his fight is that Zap hits his knight, which would be unfortunate.
That's it. Then it's time to start tempering up the Red Mage and start praying.
Chaos takes a swing at that knight and misses. That's good. Chaos missing on most of the punches on the knight is exactly what you want to see. Here comes the first Vorpal swing. 8 hits for 1200 damage.
Shabby. Not too shabby. It's going to need about 3-4 more of those to get the job done. I think it's all... Oh, he's still tempering. He does not want to take any chances. Ice, too. Chaos, do you want to die? Because that's how you die.
Still stacking tempers. We're going to see a big swing here.
Yeah,
He knows the Cure 4 is coming.
He does. Alright, an attack comes out. Limply missing. And there's the Cure 4.
Good turn order, too.
That is amazing
And
timing.
it's 3,148 damage.
That's a pretty good number.
One more of those, and that's it.
Boom.
7 hits, 1,000 damage. Man,
Next.
Chaos is still standing.
The next hit will do it. This will do it right here.
9
And
hits,
GG.
1,800 damage. GG Thunder-a-Lot. Get your GGs out in chat. Great run. Big swings with the Vorpal. It was cool.
It was a very cool race. I do not have our finish time here, but we're going to go by what it says on Sir Link-a-Lot's screen and say 1:30:45. And I don't believe we've even got anybody on the other side in TOF yet. I mean, technically, Dark Moon is there grinding. I think they're both grinding the Gershark with Sea Hag fight. But neither of them is diving yet.
You were also spot on that time, Will. The official FFR bot time for Team Thunder-a-Lot is 1 hour, 30 minutes, and 45 seconds.
There you have it. There you have it. And I think that Sonny and Dark Moon are getting the news now. Looks like they're gonna keep at it. Dark Moon is... I was gonna look at his menu when he came back, but he power cycled. It looked like he had a row and a half of shards he still needed to get, so he's a bit behind. I don't know where Sonny's at because I haven't seen his menu in a while.
Hopefully we can get Team Thunder-a-Lot in here to talk to us a little bit about that run and how they felt, and maybe a little bit about some arachnids.
Maybe. Probably have Dangwoo bring him in, and it looks like we've got Thunder in the waiting room, so let's drag him on in here. We have both of them in here.
We are joined in chat by Sir Link-a-Lot and Thunder. Team Thunder-a-Lot, your winners tonight. GG's, guys.
Hey, thanks.
Thank you.
One word I could use to describe what you guys did in this seed. You dominated it. You were able to get stacks off effectively on those fiend fights, despite the fact that they were basically power packs of HP. You were able to survive some nastiness, some nukes that came out. I'll just start by asking, how do you guys feel about that finish?
It felt really good. The Temple of Fiends, like I said, a few of the Fiends had a lot of HP. Matter of fact, looking back at it, I think Kraken 2 was the easiest of the Fiends as far as HP pool goes, plus the
Yes.
spells they threw out instead of doing a lot of damage right away.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, routing it, it was like, since we kind of worked proximity-wise, we got through our dungeons fast, it was fine. If we had chosen to order, like check our dungeons in order that wasn't so proximal and would have been a little unconventional, we could have had some turn-ins in a better order, but otherwise I think we approached it really well.
Yeah, it was pretty efficient. So I'll let Dwight ask a question here. I'm gonna manage chat for a second.
So Thunder, do you feel like you maybe are afraid of spiders?
Yeah, those spiders were not fun. That was one thing I didn't like in the seed. Those ambush-happy, frost-spamming arachnids, and they showed up on tiles, of course, but then I see them in like marsh split, and I see them wherever, and I see them in earth floors that have arachnids in packs with oozes. Like, can I just not see these, please?
So those arachnids, you saw frost, you saw blaze.
Yes.
They also had damage poison, because we saw it on Sonira's screen.
I don't know how you get to a third round of those things, to be honest. Even with ribbons chipping around with that blaze and frost, that's a lot of damage going out.
A lot of blazes weren't really going off as often as they would have been. I think some of them were running away at that point.
Yeah, I did see that happening on mine too.
One of the big things that I noticed from your two screens as opposed to Sonny and Darkmoon is that, like Thunder, for example, you chose to, like, you found some eyes off a power cycle early and chose to get a few levels early, and you both kind of got some early levels, so that way you were able to, get down to those dungeons, find those shards, and actually get out with the key item for your progression, as well as, keeping some levels and getting some traction. So I think that was a huge difference. Was that something that you planned on doing going in, or is that just something like, well, it's available, so we're gonna take it?
Yeah, you always want to keep in mind that the earlier you get your levels, the easier the rest of your exploration is going to get. You really want to get you want to get your party members over 100 HP at least, and then also that helps you get your charges for level 1 and 2 at least. And just finding the eye on natural, like just checking the boxes on that floor, I knew I could take it up with Lit 3, so it was a good 1 or 2 fights was really all I needed to get my footing set, and then I was able to just use Fade at level 2 to chip away through the rest of the dungeons I go through and get more levels along the way. But it wasn't really my plan to just sit there and take an eye fight. It was just like it happened, it was good, and that was all I needed.
You got yourself out of there around level 7, so you weren't sitting there and grinding those eyes. You took what you needed and you left. You used that momentum, carried yourself through more dungeons. You used more of a walking grind. And I think that was probably the winning play. I think you and Sir Link-a-Lot both did something similar there, whereas I think Sonny and Darkmoon tried going a little lower level and are now doing more of a grind as they go. Sonny is on the Carry 2 floor as we speak, and Darkmoon is fighting Warmech.
The seed was really fun it felt really straightforward, which, you like to see variety, but getting to the floater was quite a maze of different turn-ins leading to the weird places that you had to go to finally get to what you needed for the floater.
Right.
You ended up having to go to ordeals with something to get the ruby from Dwarf Cave, I think it was. And then you had to turn into ruby, go get popped out at Onrak, go find the crystal in Onrak Continent, and turn it in at Canary Castle for the floater, which was a lot of walking around and fun little routing that doesn't happen too often.
And a lot of people wouldn't think to use that alternate exit and say, you know what, now that I have access to Waterfall with this exit, I'm going to check that out and grab this item. Some people might have just gone for the instead of chest and then just left and not gone out the other end to see what was there. So I think that was a heads-up play. It definitely paid off.
It was funny because as I went into Titan's Tunnel, or when I was going to Titan's Tunnel to go through it, or at least grab the incentive, I was like, it'd be funny if this came out of like Onrak or Waterfall, and then I can check that. And when it did, I'm like, well, it's like we still haven't found the vendor item, so it's like, okay, so it's like a 50-50 shot. It's at the caravan or it's Elfland at this point. And at that point, we thought it's like it still could be the floater too. So and then we found the floaters, like, hey, the Adamant's here, which I bought and we never ended up turning in, which I think had to be incentive ribbon, which when you find 4 ribbons out in the world, that's nice.
It was pretty. Yeah, it made it pretty safe. Pretty safe Topher dive, save for the high HP fiends that you had to go through. We actually had a few moments where we had Blurst commentating today, but on our end it was more blessed than cursed. So we predicted where the tail was going to be. There was that Masa pickup on the right side of Volcano 2. Dwight could probably think of some more.
I think we blessed Sonny when he found the Vorpal too, possibly.
Right.
I think, and then I can't remember. I think that was it. I think just during we were talking up the better trap treasure flag, and then you find the Massa right away, and it was pretty funny.
Yeah, the Massa find was really nice, but man, that Vorpal 5, heck yeah, dude, give me that every day.
Yeah, as soon as I told him, like, so he's like, I've got it winning out of the Massa, and I pulled the Vorpal 5, like, found our endgame weapon, and he was just like, what? I'm like, Vorpal 5. He's like, where is it? Told him, like, and then I found the other Temper Gauntlet. He's like, yeah, I'm coming there. And then there was I think 2 slices down right below in the Elf Castle Armory there too, or at least 1.
I think it was 2 because it saved me from having to fight Lich.
So one of the things, both teams were neck and neck for quite a while. For I'd say probably the first 35 minutes of the run.
Yeah, about that.
And then the big thing came. Sonny and Darkmoon were all out on exploration. That's what they wanted to find, that floater. They wanted to find, all the progression they could get to open up the world, right? And that was fine because they found the floater probably a solid 10 minutes before you guys did. The problem became once they found that floater, they had no levels, so they couldn't go anywhere. So they had to go find a spot, get some levels, and then go in. Once you had found the floater, it was the pedal to the metal, because it was like, I already have these levels, I can explore. So I think that was the turning point in that race.
I even made a comment whenever we when we were getting to the end of the race. I was like, man, when we got a floater, we really got cooking and going fast here. I think it was like a 40-minute floater, and then by an hour, I was ready to take it into Topher and start my dive. But yeah, I see that. I noticed while we were talking that Sonny ended up hitting the Brack on Kraken too.
I feel really bad that I missed that.
Looks like he's going for Tia.
Yes, he is.
Looks like Tia decided to take that night out.
We have Darkmoon and Topher as well.
Mm-hmm. I think at this point, knowing that the game is over, the match is over for the day, trying to get some meme strats in here just for a Pyrrhic victory, not Pyrrhic victory, just a moral victory makes sense. And 6% chance, why not entertain the fans a bit?
Was X4 available? Maybe we can see some X4 Brack strats on Chaos.
I believe X4 was level 3 or 2. It was low. I remember picking it up.
I don't think he did. And there's nuclear. By the way, Tia has nuclear.
Oh no, that was... Sorry, you're a little ahead of me.
Talk to me about the party compositions you guys chose. It looks like you, Linklot went with the Fighter Rainbow, and then Thunder, you went with, I think, Fighter White Black Black. Is that just like your default composition for these flags, or for co-op, or does it just depend on the flag, the specific flag set? Oh no, Tia 2 had nuke and wiped Sonny.
Yeah, I'll go first on that, I guess. I always like to run the 2 blacks and a white with the knight. I don't know, it's just something I did last co-op with Bono, and it was very efficient getting in and out of dungeons because the black mages combine their run chance to make it very rare that you miss a run. Plus, it gives you a lot of that early level because you're not guaranteed to find level 3 or 4 magic or even level 2 magic before you have to do a lot of dives.
Right.
So it really throws extra charges quickly for your low level spells, and you can get deeper into dungeons a little safer. And then the White Mage guarantees some type of ruse, Invis, Invis 2, in case it's only available to White Mage. You got at least one character that can man mode Topher if you have to.
Sense of black belts in these seeds, which I think Falconic brought up the point that it's allowable to take a black belt so long as both parties agree to it, but I can't see that happening. So you're really almost never going to see black belt in any of these seeds. It's absolutely true. You're going to want to have enemy, well, at least one character who can tank through. And we are joined, as I say that, by Sonny Wrath and Dark Moon. GG to you both.
Thanks.
That wasn't good.
Yeah.
But I appreciate it.
Every race can throw something different at you, and it's just a matter of where you go, when you go there, and how you do it. It's you play your best, and it happens. But you guys, I think you both still played / are playing a good game. Where would you like to start here regarding the seed? Where were you finding that you had the most difficulties here?
Sonny, you go ahead while I'm doing this.
So the problem I had the most was armor at this point. Like, okay, there were some decent pieces of armor. Yes, we had 5 ribbons available in the seed. But overall, the absorb on the armor was not going to be able to cut it. Invises, sharing a level with Fade, did not help at all. Weaponry was okay. Vorpal plus 5 was really nice to see. The Bane Sword being the Lit 3 sword was, I mean, it's okay. It's not something that should be used as an in-game weapon. It's definitely not something meant to be an in-game weapon at 280% clamps. The spells we had, I actually had no complaints with.
They were on the levels I guess they had shared with, having Fade and Invis 2 on the same level, Nuke and Temper on the same level. That had to be problematic, especially not having a red mage with you. As is the case with a lot of seeds, the fighter rainbow party was rewarded, and the 2-caster or 1-caster party was not. It was punished. So I know you suffered a bit of that by taking the thief instead of a red mage, which I you know me, I'm not going to argue with that choice. That's a choice I'd make too. But for this particular case, this particular seed, I mean, that's something where I wouldn't say that you lost on the character creation screen, but
No.
it definitely put you behind the 8 ball.
No, that's definitely a loss on the character creation screen. It's there's no other way to put it on that one. That is straight loss at the character creation screen.
The only way you could have combated that was grind, like doing a 2-man or a 1-man grind with your primary caster, either black mage or white mage, to make sure you have enough spell charges to mitigate that. But it does make it more difficult. Picking up the Invis shirt made life a little easier. Those temper gauntlets would have made it easier. It's just a matter of when you got them. And had you gotten them earlier, I think you've been able to mitigate that a lot better. But
I got one of them early on. The second one was just a nice find while looking for shards on the temper gauntlets. The Invis shirt itself, I mean, yes, it would have been nice to use, but it doesn't matter when my knight gets immediately eaten.
Yeah, and that's just RNG. Nothing you can do about that. Like, get 2 stacks up, and you're not going to get one shot. Normally on a high level knight with good gear, but with 1 stack or less, yeah.
I will say sometimes on that.
Yeah.
It's all dependent upon how everything rolls.
Kraken 2 exists.
At this point, no, it was a loss at character creation.
Fair.
The magic was too good on this for the red mage not to take one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was a big crit with that Vorpal on Kraken 2 Dark
It
Moon.
really was. I was pleased.
Nice. This is a rare moment where we get to have someone commenting their own race while they're running it. We don't get to see that. We don't see that on Speed Gaming or Randomania because they prefer we not have live runners talking while they're running the race.
it's so hard to not cuss, but I mean, the pressure is off for me at this point that it's just like,
Yeah.
we'll just go with it now, whatever.
I mean, might as well. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Certainly keeping it real PG is definitely the
Yep.
way to go here.
Oh,
But yeah.
Oh yeah.
So my question for Sonic Wrath, in 3 words or less, arachnids, go.
Frost blaze heat.
Man, I suffered those arachnids so hard trying to get down into marsh. That was just wrong.
You're gonna have a bad time, that's for sure.
Yeah, that
Sonic
was.
the only one that saw that they had damage poison too.
Yeah.
He stuck around long enough to see their entire skill list.
I mean, considering how behind we were, how many shards I needed at that point, I was like, no, we're not winning this. There's no point.
Yeah. I mean, it would have required them to have just as bad of a time as we did for that to happen.
Which
You could
obviously
just,
you guys
you could
didn't.
feel it. I mean, when we weren't in the air until the 40-minute mark, I didn't want to say it at the time, but it just kind of felt like, yeah, this is not going well for us.
Oh, I knew it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
You guys were actually in the air first.
Yeah, but we're talking about playing against these guys. Like, just being in the
It
air
doesn't
first
matter.
isn't good enough. Yeah.
Like, at this point, it's who's getting into Topher first with the party that's strong enough to survive.
Yeah.
Levels, of course. But having access to a fighter tile, having access to an eye, having access to a number of different things to grind on. I don't know what you folks saw. I'm trying to remember
We
if
didn't
you.
see any of that.
you
We didn't see
the-
any of that.
We did not see any. That would have made things so much easier.
The fighter. I'm trying to remember. I think the fighter tile might have been on the Sharknado floor.
Oh yeah, we
I'm-
didn't dive deep into that.
I think that's where it was. Chat can correct me, or Thunder. and
Sir
Link
Link
can correct
saw
me.
that, and I'm not
Yeah.
sure where.
Don't think I
Goodbye,
saw
Red
a fighter.
One of
Maybe
the
it
two
was,
of you
maybe.
absolutely found a 2 fighter tile. I just don't remember where it was. I'm
might have
inclined to
been
say it
sh-
was C.
It might have been
Which-
Sharknado then, because the ones I
Yeah.
remember in Sharknado were like a Gurimp and ogres and creeps were the ones I
Oh.
remember. But I think there might have been one more
Yeah.
on there, maybe.
So
That might
you
have been
found
the
the 2
Korean.
best ones.
Yeah, I mean, I ended up taking Frost Dragons and Ice Cave. There was a nice Frost Dragon tile. That's where I found it. I'm like, hey, I need some levels. Let me just
Yeah.
basically burn through all my charges and get some levels. And that got me like 24 or 25.
Mhm.
But I was also thinking at the time, we knew Exit was level 8, and there were some good equipment, like the Masa Mune, because I still didn't have the Vorpal at that point. So I was like, I need the Masa for an endgame weapon.
Right.
It's fairly deep, so it's like, let me try to get that Exit charge on my White Wizards. That way I can just grab the Masa and get out. But
Yeah.
then
Where
it's like I went
was-
through everything and still didn't have the charge. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna go look for other stuff right now. And then the Vorpal 5, like, yeah, bye Masa. I'm not gonna go get that anymore.
You didn't need it.
Where was the Mazda?
Right side of Volcano 2. So on the chest opposite
So-
of the hairpin chest.
Yeah. And the
Okay,
other
yeah, we
side of the
didn't go in there.
hairpins.
No.
Yeah.
You went to the armory, but you didn't check the loose ones. That's where it was. I don't think anybody checked hairpin.
I did. It was a slow stick.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I guess you did.
Good old slow stick.
Watch the end of this fight here. Dark
Chaos
Moon.
shouldn't have
Chaos.
much more left.
Yeah. I
Not
won't
with the
spoil
damage
anything.
I'm cranking out.
I won't spoil anything for you, buddy. I'll let you experience this for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what well, Sonny couldn't have told you. But,
Done.
yeah.
I don't
There
know
you
what
go.
my time is because I forgot to set my timer, but done.
Alrighty.
What does the timer say on screen?
I don't know yet.
It was like, yeah, you're still haven't finished on screen yet.
150, 154.
God, that's
GG.
gross. Well, thank you, but ugh, that's gross. That's a
Yeah.
bad time.
Hey.
Dark Moon didn't get to see the Cure 4. That's not fair.
No, or
No,
the
I
nuke.
destroyed
The
him.
nukes.
He did one nuke and that was it.
Yeah, there was a Cure 4 around the 5th or 6th spell, and then a nuke like 1 or 2 after that.
Nah, he was punchy. I lucked out here.
Somebody.
We both saw the Cure 4, but I already knew it was coming, so I was just like stacking tempers on
Yeah.
mine.
Exactly.
And
Mhm.
as soon as Cure 4 came out, that's when I started swinging, and I ended up getting a swing, like I think 10 hits for like 3,000 damage.
Link, didn't you get first turn nuked?
Yes, I did get first turn.
Yeah, I think we both did.
Yeah, it was just a bad time.
My black wizard was like, I'm gonna cast fast, and Chaos was like, nah.
Nah, bro.
That's what you think. You're
Yeah,
gonna eat the dirt. It's like,
Here's
I
what you get
lost-
here's what you get for thinking.
Yeah, I lost my top black mage to that nuke, then the second one survived with 1 HP, and then got
Yeah.
like 2 other turns to go for locks.
Yeah, you really lucked out with that one black mage hanging on for dear life, because
Not calculated.
yeah, that was very, very fortunate. I don't really have a heck of a lot more to ask you guys, so if we want to go ahead and go into final thoughts on this race, I will let Sonny and Dark Moon comment on this race and what you plan to do for the next one, if anything's going to change up for you guys.
I'm gonna go back and watch the race that we just did tomorrow and see if there's anything that they did that we didn't that we can improve upon and try better. That's about it.
Fair enough. Sonny?
GG's, you guys are going on to the next round because I
GG's.
don't have time to be able to watch this back, because as soon as I get home from work, it's probably going to be rest and recover, get ready for this, and then go in and lose. So,
That's the
GG,
spirit.
you guys are getting the next round. Hey, pessimism. The best thing about it is that if we win, I'm pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I can't vote against that.
Yeah,
Thunder.
I mean,
oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I came into this not expecting to win. I mean, I figured if we get close, that's great. But it's one of those things. It took a lot of the stress off. I think I cussed the least on stream that I've ever done before. So.
Well,
The
yeah.
small victories. The small
One-
victories.
The small
One
victories,
bit-
yeah.
One big cuss when you see the done come through, and then after that, it's pretty much.
Nah.
it's all
No, I'm
gravy.
used to that from Iron Gull. Like,
It
oh,
wasn't
they're
even
already
that.
done. Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever.
Oh, a question for the winners, Thunder and Sir Link a lot. Something that happened in chat, like right when this race finished. Falconic asked if you would be willing to have him roll your seed for you for the next match. He's a little bitter about the seeds rolling for you 3 times in a row being pretty straightforward races, and of course he's Falconic, so he's probably gonna roll something difficult.
I mean, if he wants to roll and give us that Vorpal 5, I'm okay with it. That's
you go.
fine.
Give us a
Vorpal was great.
Vorpal -5, a Katana -5, a Maza -5, and only make our good sword a silver sword +5.
Ew. No. I don't want that.
I don't have any problem with the seed from Falconic as long as he gives us something like a Vorpal 5.
Fair enough.
Otherwise, we have to
Or a
forfeit the
power
race.
staff, or a power staff that casts nuclear.
No,
No. You
no.
forgot the important part. The fact that it's like a Masa 10. That was the important part about it, I think.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Let's not get
Power
crazy
staff.
here.
Right on then. All right, fellas, I'm going to call it here. GG to all people involved. Thank you very much to RPG Limit Break for having us here in your house tonight. Thank you to Dwight for doing commentary, actually pulling me up to do it. And it was a pleasure as always. I will leave the final thoughts here to Dwight.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for coming out tonight and spending the evening with us on RPG Limit Break, for hosting us. Big shout out to them. Shadowed Flames, our tracker. Dangwoo, our restreamer. Give all of our runners a follow. These are amazing folks that stream a lot of variety of games. There's a lot of FFR content. If you like what you see, there's a bunch of races going on this week and this weekend. It was really fun. Thanks for having me out here. Yeah, that's about all I got.
All of us here in the FFR community, to all of you, thanks for being here. Looking forward to seeing you again next time. Have a good night, everyone.